And I know it wasn't announced that Caitlin Clark wouldn't play until right before, but this is a preseason game where Clark is not available, and yet you probably...
You want to body slam me? Fine, I'll drop 21 points on you. That was essentially Sophie Cunningham's response after Mystics rookie Kiki Iriafen delivered a flagrant foul that could have injured the Fever's new addition.
This proves there is an agenda against the Indiana Fever. There is an attack agenda.
In a preseason game that was anything but friendly, the Indiana Fever showed something we rarely saw last season: toughness, unity, and the willingness to stand up for each other. Even with Caitlin Clark sidelined with a nagging left leg, the Fever proved they're no longer a team to be pushed around. It was the birth of a new identity for the Indiana Fever, one where players like Cunningham, Hull, and Bonner showed they won't back down from anyone. In this video, we'll break down everything that happened, Sophie and the Fever's spicy response, and how the Washington Mystics reacted post-game after the bullying. If you stand with Indiana, comment "Spicy Sophie" down below. Let's go.
This is the first time we're witnessing this. They're attacking Sophie Cunningham just like they did Caitlin last year. There is an agenda against this basketball team, and I'm calling it out right now. The league better step in immediately. They better step in immediately. We better not be dealing with what we dealt with last year with Caitlin.
What happens when the face of your franchise sits on the sidelines for the Indiana Fever? It meant facing their preseason opener against the Washington Mystics without Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just any absence. It was Clark's first missed game in 5 years, spanning her entire college career at Iowa and rookie WNBA season. Coach Stephanie White made the tough call to sit out Clark, who was dealing with what Clark herself described as a little tightness in her left leg. "We need to think long-term," White explained, protecting her star player with a grueling season ahead featuring 4 more games than last year. Smart move for the future, but it left the Fever incredibly vulnerable in the moment.
I mean, look, the biggest thing is we got to think long-term. Like, we got to make sure that we're not putting Caitlin at risk for injury. We're not putting our team in a position, where we're thinking short-term and not long-term. It's a long season, 4 more games than last season. So we want to make sure that we're extra cautious and put her health and wellness first and foremost. And honestly, it's been one day at a time. How she's reacted to treatment, how she's reacted to workouts. So positive progress is being made, but we can't be short-sighted.
The first quarter was brutal for Indiana. They fell behind quickly, getting outscored 24-13 as the Mystics established complete dominance. Missed layups, 0 offensive flow. The Fever looked completely lost. The deficit ballooned to 15 points, and fans watching had to wonder if this game was already over before it really began.
Looked the most confident I've ever seen Lexi Hull look. Lexi Hull looked the most confident I have ever seen Lexi Hull look, putting the ball on the ground, taking it to the rack, shooting threes, middies, turnaround fades. Whether they went in or not, we can get into that another day once the season starts. But the fact that she's confident enough in her game to where she's at least willing to try to do something to make the offense happen, to create points, to create confusion among the defense.
Despite all the early struggles and double-digit deficit, the Fever showed something remarkable: resilience. The absence of their superstar became not an excuse, but a challenge. Other players began to find their rhythm. The defense tightened, and suddenly that massive lead didn't seem so insurmountable.
Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, these 2 players. Sophie Cunningham gave us 21, Lexi Hull gave us 13. The Blonde Bombers is what they're calling them. We were down 15 in the first half. Why were we down 15? We cut it to within 3 at half.
How did the Fever manage to stay competitive without Clark? The answer wasn't in one player trying to replace her 20-plus points per game. It came from unexpected heroes stepping up, collectively playing with heart and refusing to back down from Washington's physical challenge. Little did the Mystics know that physical approach would soon backfire in dramatic fashion, with the Fever starting to find their groove in the second quarter. Everything changed in an instant. The game shifted dramatically when Mystics rookie Kiki Iriafen delivered what can only be described as a body slam to Sophie Cunningham with 5 minutes left in the first half.
That Caitlin Clark wouldn't play until right before. This is a preseason game where Clark is not available, and yet you probably...
This wasn't just a hard basketball play. This was something you'd expect to see in a wrestling ring. Cunningham, who joined Indiana this offseason in a 4-team trade, had been steadily finding her rhythm and helping narrow Washington's lead. She was moving without the ball, creating space, and causing problems for the Mystics' defense. Then came the confrontation that changed everything.
Probably have 10,000 people here and a real home court advantage.
That's Sophie Cunningham. There you go. I mean, she's right there saying, don't you do that. She's telling the rookie right now.
As both players battled for a rebound, Iriafen grabbed Cunningham and violently threw her to the hardwood. The crowd gasped. Teammates on both sides froze for a split second, and then Cunningham sprang to her feet, immediately getting in Iriafen's face.
That's Kiki Iriafen, and I got to tell you, here we go with the smiling like you've done. I don't get it. This is the worst part of the WNBA. It is.
You don't do that! You don't do that! Cunningham shouted, her words crystal clear even from the broadcast. The officials quickly stepped between them, but the damage was done. They reviewed the play and assessed a flagrant one foul against Iriafen, a call that frankly seemed lenient given how dangerous the play looked.
I mean, yikes. Kiki, the new Kennedy. A lot of people not happy. Demon Sophie, yeah, she showed up. Look at this. They're celebrating that. Okay. I mean, it's crazy. Here we go again. Here we go again. She's yelling while Kiki's laughing in her face. Never seen a rook have a vet so rattled.
But the Mystics weren't done targeting Cunningham. Later in the game, Brittany Sykes delivered another unnecessary shove, sending Cunningham crashing to the floor again. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't basketball, it was bullying, plain and simple. A clear pattern emerging of Washington players singling out Cunningham.
This was another one right here. This was Brittany Sykes, and Wnba Bonner got involved in this one. She did. Little standing on business.
The Fever's bench erupted. This wasn't the same Indiana team that got pushed around last year. Nalissa Smith, another veteran addition to this squad, immediately stepped in to confront Sykes, showing the new protective culture developing within the team. The message was clear. Mess with one Fever player, you mess with all of them. What's most fascinating was how these incidents transformed the entire game. The Mystics thought they were being tough, thought they were intimidating their opponent. Instead, they awakened a sleeping giant in Cunningham and unified the entire Fever team. The officials reviewed both incidents, assessed penalties, and the game resumed. But something had fundamentally changed on the court. The energy had shifted. The Fever players weren't backing down, they were fired up. Coach White later described Cunningham as a dog, basketball slang for a player with relentless fight and heart.